Temple football's coming up. We actually have Jeff on the line right now. Jeff Asch, how are you?
I'm terrific. How are you guys?
Awesome. Thank you for joining the program. Jeff is a veteran Philadelphia broadcaster and is currently a news and sports anchor at KYW News Radio, formerly at WCAU TV and Radio. Temple's own Jeff Asch. Jeff, my co-hosts are Dan Ray, Jamie Gray. Say hi, fellas.
Jeff, how you doing? Thanks for joining us today.
Sure, no problem. How's everybody doing? All right?
Not too bad, Jeff. Thanks for coming on today.
Tell me about Charlotte. I don't know much about them. We're going to beat them by the 24 points?
Well, Charlotte is throwing their backup QB at us, who threw 4 picks last week, so it's looking pretty good.
Good. I have to be honest. I don't follow the 49ers on a regular basis, so I'm sure you guys know a lot more about it than I do.
I concur. From what I hear, they just joined the FBS this season.
They did.
Yeah, Dan, which bodes extremely well for Temple. I mean, Jeff,
but we also said that about UMass. We said UMass was in their 3rd year in the FBS, and we saw how that fared for Temple. I think they've shown that you can't really undervalue any team. And Matt Rule has said that repeatedly. So, Jeff, what is your take on that about how they're going into Charlotte, as we said, 22-point favorites, but I don't really think they can take any team lightly at this point?
Well, you can't because they say in pro football on any given Sunday and in college football on any given Saturday. I do know that Charlotte is 2-2, and Temple, of course, is undefeated. I think, here again, P.J. Walker is going to have a good game. He's not going to be, if he turns the ball over a few times, you can lose to anybody. So I think, P.J. is going to be key because the quarterback is always key.
Absolutely. P.J. Walker needs to step up big in this game. And last week, frankly, Temple really should have lost that game. Their defense bailed them out. Their special teams bailed them out. Question for you, Jeff. Players on Temple like Jihad Thomas, Tyler Matakevich, and the defense have really stepped up to the plate so far. Temple's 3-0. They have a long season ahead of them. People are saying 7-0, but let's pump the brakes, take it 1 week at a time. Who do you see on Temple stepping up to the plate as the season moves forward?
Well, I will say this before I answer that question. Do you guys think, let me answer the question by asking a question. Do you guys think that the Notre Dame game will be for number 1 in the country? And I'm just kidding. But I'm sure there's a lot of excitement on North Broad Street about this football team. Is everybody kind of looking ahead to that game?
Oh, yeah, it's marked on everyone's
definitely.
calendars. I think we can all say Halloween's going to be a big day here on North Broad.
But what's going to happen if they lose between now and then?
I don't see that happening, personally. I don't think Temple is going to let that happen. I think Matt Rule has instilled a philosophy in this team that this is their year, and I think they've entered with that mentality so far, and they don't really seem they seem like a coherent bunch this year, where last year it was sort of Jalen Fitzpatrick on one end, P.J. Walker on another end, and, they wasn't really a solid team. This team looks bonded together. I think this team is going to go into that game against Notre Dame 5-0 or 6-0, whatever that game is, 7-0. And I don't see them beating Notre Dame, but as Jamie said, it's going to be a very exciting day here in North Philadelphia.
Yeah, I hope so. But here again, we have to get through the next few games before we start talking about Notre Dame. I don't know who I expect to step up against this game against Charlotte. I just think that here again, like I said before, if PJ just doesn't turn the ball over, I think they'll do well.
Well, we saw it last week. PJ had 391 yards. That was overshadowed by 2 interceptions that he took. 2 interceptions that really were bad picks. I mean, he kind of threw it right to the opposing teams. There was one where the cornerback made a nice play on it. But for the most part, those were bad decisions by PJ Walker. However, Charlotte has been absolutely decrepit against the run so far this year. Do you think Jihad Thomas is going to have the holes there?
I think the Owls' strength, in my opinion, is their offensive line because they've performed so well, especially over the last couple of games. They're what are they averaging? Like 140 yards on the ground, the running backs, and you need a solid front 5 in order to get that. So I think a lot of the credit to go to the Owls' offensive line.
Okay, so we're going to switch from Saturday to Sunday in the same stadium. Let's talk some birds, Jeff. My dad says, from Karnak the Magnificence, the Eagles are 1,000 clowns.
They are.
But with that in mind...
8,000 clowns.
It is no secret that continuity has been an issue with this team all season. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of turnover, and it really doesn't seem like anybody stepping up from a leadership perspective on offense. Who do you think needs to step up?
Oh boy, that's a tough one. I think the Eagles need to get more out of their wide receivers and their tight ends. The tight ends are doing a very good job of blocking, but they're certainly not getting open enough to where they're a factor in the passing game. And the Eagles, obviously, last week, I think they had 6 completed passes to wide receivers, and it was all Jordan Matthews. He caught all 6 passes. So they're going to have to get Aguilar and Cooper and the other wide receivers more involved in the offense. And I think that's going to be key against Washington.
Everybody talks about Chip Kelly and his offense and how great it is, how he's a master genius. But the thing that's really propelled the Eagles to success this season has been the defense. Walter Thurman, Malcolm Jenkins look phenomenal. Brandon Bear is a fly swatter on the offensive line. Who stuck out on the defense for you?
Well, you just named a few of the guys. I'm a big Connor Barwin fan, and even though the stats don't show it this year, I think he has been one of the key players on defense because he's been double teamed most of the time, and he takes away one of the blockers that should be blocking somebody else or helping out with somebody else, and that's let the Brandon Bears and the Cedric Thorntons and players like that get in the face of the quarterback. So. Keep your eye on Connor Barwin. He is J.J. Watt-like.
I mean, that's a very high compliment for coming for Connor Barwin. I'm sure he'd accept that. But I want to get your thoughts on how this game is going to be played in the weathery conditions down there in Washington. You know Sam Bradford's knee has been an issue. RG3 has torn up his knee down there before. How do you think this is going to affect the game plan for the Eagles going into what could be hurricane-like conditions?
Well, I think Washington's strength is their running game. So it's certainly going to help them, but the Eagles' strength, at least last week, was their running game. And we'll just have to wait and see what kind of shape DeMarco Murray is in. But expect to see a lot, and I mean a lot of running. I think if each team passes the ball 15 times each, I think that would be a lot. I think both teams are going to keep the ball on the ground, which is their strength, and especially in this weather. We're not going to see the ball in the air that much.
Now, would you say that's because of the weather or because you don't have any faith in Sam Bradford?
Little of both. I have to be honest. I was all for the trade with Sam Bradford, but right now he just looks a little lost, and hopefully he can turn it around this week.
Now, Jeff, Dan here. Just a little background on myself. I'm not from the Philadelphia area. I'm actually from the New England area, so diehard New England fan, Patriots, Celtics, Bruins. And yeah, I know. I apologize for that, but obviously you're a longtime Philadelphia guy. This is my second year actually being involved and immersed in Philadelphia sports, and I've seen, the fanatical side of Eagles fans, and I've seen the tyrannical side of Eagles fans. I personally have not seen a lot out of the Philadelphia Eagles this season. They don't really seem like a coherent team. What is your outlook for the team going forward for the rest of the season? Do you think they win the NFC East? My bad.
Well, it certainly was a must-win last week, and it wasn't pretty. But 5 weeks from now, we're not going to be talking about how poor the offense played or how bad Sam Bradford was. They still won the game, and that's really all that matters. But maybe it's just taking a little while for this team to gel on offense, but certainly Chip Kelly's offense has worked in this league. It worked quite well with Michael Vick. It worked well with Nick Foles, and now we'll just have to wait and see if it works with Sam Bradford. So it's not the offense. It's not the offensive philosophy. It's the people that he has on offense. And I think once they start gelling and once they start knowing each other, and remember, this is not the same offensive line as last year. In answer to your question, yes, I think the Eagles have as good a chance as any of the teams to win the NFC East, especially with all the injuries that the Cowboys have right now. But the team that scares me the most are the New York Giants.
Preach.
Keep your eyes on them.
Jeff, I've been saying that since the beginning. The Giants have scared me since even before Romo and Dez got hurt. And it's funny that you say that Connor Barwin is a lot like J.J. Watt, because I've been saying on these airwaves for the past year now that I think Connor Barwin is a mini J.J. Watt. But I digress. Talking about the division, you said the Giants are the team. You believe the Giants are the team to watch out going forward. Who do you think wins the division, knowing what you know today?
To be honest, I think the Giants. If right now, if
solid pick, Jeff. I have to agree with you. As much as I hate the New York Giants for their antics in the Super Bowl.
I don't make a lot of friends when I say that.
Well, you know, you're a man of Philly. You preach the truth. You know, I remember talking. Question for you, actually, in regard to the Jet game. I remember Darren Sproles got thrown down, like thrown backward, and I personally thought that was a football play. What'd you think of the play? I don't think it should be penalized.
Yeah, I think it was a football play too. But in this day and age, they're looking for stuff like that, and they're going to call you on it every time you hit somebody around the knees. When you slam somebody down to the ground. They're trying to be mindful of the injury status of the player. So anytime you're even close to doing something that they think would be wrong, they're going to throw the flag.
Keeping it with NFL right now, knowing what you know now, which NFL team do you think is going to surprise this season?
Well, I think already Atlanta's probably been the biggest surprise. Maybe Cincinnati. They're both 3-0. I don't know. Keep your eye on Arizona as well. You know, there's so many teams that are really, really good that if they get a lucky break and if they stay healthy, could really cause havoc at the end of the season. And I think Arizona's one of them. I think Cincinnati's one of them. Right now, there's a lot of really good teams and a lot of really bad teams.
Yeah.
But I think those are three of the top, other than the obvious New England and Green Bay's.
Yeah, you mentioned Arizona and Cincinnati. Those two teams are really surprising. You mentioned the Giants earlier, too. They're a 5.5-point dog in Buffalo, and I think that's a little strange. I personally think they're going to win that game. I just want to get your opinion of that.
All right, let me think. Buffalo is a 5.5-point favorite?
Yes.
Over?
The Giants, and Buffalo's at home.
Giants. Buffalo is at home. All right, let me think it through. Well, LaShawn is probably not going to play.
LaShawn and Sammy Watkins are both out for the Bills.
Oh, they're definitely both out. Okay.
Yes.
I like the Giants.
Okay, good to hear.
If you're asking, I like the Giants. First of all, I'm not a Rex Bryan guy. I'm sorry. Bills have a very good defense, but now they're going to be down with their key running back. I would go with the Giants.
Now, Jeff, as I said, New England guy here. The Patriots has started out, I would say, probably, aside from the Arizona Cardinals, the most dominant start in the NFL so far this season. Do you see them as the team coming out of the AFC? And switching gears from that, who do you see coming out of the NFC as of today?
Well, I think you have to go with New England just because they're the defending Super Bowl champs, and there's nothing that shows that they've slowed down or changed since last year. So I would go with New England in the AFC. And as far as the NFC, Green Bay just keeps winning. I don't know how they do it. They're doing it without Jordy Nelson now. Big Randall Cobb fan. And, you know, Aaron Rodgers, in my mind, is without a doubt the best player, best quarterback in the NFL, even better than Tom Brady. He's just...
Agreed.
I mean, the numbers he's putting up, the fact that he's gone 40 games, I think it's 40 games without throwing an interception at home or something like that. It's mind-boggling.
Last question, Jeff. We're running up against it. We're going to switch gears real fast. I want to get your opinion on this Phillies team. It seems like the dog days are over. The worst is over. I want to get your opinion on what direction this team is headed in.
Well, they can only go up.
Very, very true.
The thing that bothers me as a Philadelphia fan is that people aren't going to the game. You know, they show the games on TV and they show a lot of empty seats. I think they have to be going in the right direction. They're going to bring in a new general manager. They signed the manager McCannon for another year, which is fine because he's probably not going to be around when they start, you know, moving forward. But they're bringing in a lot of new players. They're pretty much auditioning people and have been auditioning people for the last couple of months. And they're just going to have to start at the bottom and work their way up. It's going to be a while. It's not going to happen overnight because this team next year is going to be really, really young. And they probably won't bring in a lot of high-priced free agents because they know they're still several years away.
Okay, Jeff Asch, thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Nice talking with you guys.
All right, take care, Jeff. That was Jeff Asch, a veteran Philadelphia broadcaster and is currently a news and sports anchor at KYW News. He's formerly at WCAU TV and radio. Temple's own Jeff Asch, thank you very much for joining the program. We're going to take a quick break. On the other side, we're going to talk some more NFL and make some picks for you guys. You're listening to WHIP, Philadelphia's #1 college radio station.